It's surprising that we're able to have this conversation because we were all assured last year by Senator Cash that we were about to close down Australia. But we apparently are all still here. And when we said we would get wages moving and we said we'd get bargaining moving, it's happening. It is happening. So some changes have already taken effect with that in mind from the Secure Jobs Better Pay Bill. The highly politicised ABCC is no more. The gender equality and job security are now objects of the Fair Work Act. The reforms to the equal remuneration provisions, which support the Commission to order wage increases to address unequal pay and undervalued work, in particular to address the gender pay gap, are now law, fully proclaimed. Pay secrecy provisions have now been prohibited so that people can find out on new contracts whether or what they're allowed to say how much they earn. The amendments to the anti-discrimination provisions have taken effect. The provisions on the termination of enterprise agreements, where they used to just be able to go on forever, those provisions have taken effect. Making it easier to initiate bargaining has started. Dealing with errors in enterprise agreements can now be done sensibly without a mountain of red tape. And communications and materials from the Fair Work Commission, as was moved during one of the amendments, now have to be available in multiple languages. Importantly, as well as that, only last week the provisions for family and domestic violence leave became law in Australia, in what is world-leading legislation. But some of the provisions that have not yet taken effect have already had an impact, and I refer specifically to the multi-employer bargaining provisions. While the multi-employer bargaining provisions don't start for a few months, there are a number of businesses that made clear that they didn't want to be involved in multi-employer bargaining, and of course we said the likely behaviour that would happen would be single enterprise agreements would start to take off as a result of Secure Jobs Better Pay being law. That's exactly what's happened. So Coles, for example, who had refused to bargain and had not been at the bargaining table for some time, have said that they are, quote, committed to working collaboratively throughout the process of renewing their agreements this year. That's nearly 3 years after the last enterprise agreement had nominally expired. Similarly, ANZ, after 7 years of not being at the bargaining table, are at the bargaining table again. I welcome the positive engagement from those businesses. I welcome the fact that we said we'd bring people to the table, and they are at the table negotiating and bargaining again. We said we'd get wages moving, and it's happening.